So you want to run Stalker with Reshade. The Stalker games, while looking really nice aesthetically, can show their age when it comes to post-processing. So a modern solution is highly recommended. It's where Reshade comes in. Now, what you want to do is obviously install the game, whatever game you want. This is Shadow of Chernobyl. So what you want to do first, you want to turn all the post-processing off in the game. Well, the main ones anyway. Turn off anti-aliasing, turn that down. Ambient occlusion, if it's got it, turn that off. Other than that, leave it as is. So we're going to go to the game. So the first thing you want to do is download Reshade. Go to reshade.me. Scroll down. Don't click on any of this crap. Scroll down. Scroll down. Now you've got regular Reshade here, and then you've got the full version here. Now, this one here, do not use with any multiplayer games. This one you can, but I actually recommend that you don't use Reshade at all with any multiplayer games, because you run the risk of getting banned. Anyway, this is the one you want to download. It says here, this build of Reshade is intended for single player games only and may cause bans in multiplayer games. Click the button above for a safe build instead. That will give you this one. You just click OK and download it. Once you got it downloaded, I recommend putting it either in a folder such as programs, or here I've created my own Reshade folder and I've got it in that. And this is where you want to keep your presets, because when you change your presets in game, it'll change it. So you want to keep a master copy of that preset once you've set it up. I'll explain this a little bit in a minute. So once you've got it in a folder, you want to double click on it. Come up with this warning. And then you want to find the game that you've got installed. Best way, you're gonna, if you're a bit crazy like me and you've got lots of versions of Stalker installed, you won't know which one to go to. So it's best to go to Browse and actually go to your game, wherever you've got it in your Steam folder or whatever. Most people will actually have it. I'll just show you here in your Steam library, Steam apps, common. Have we got a Stalker game here? No, we don't have one here. Try this one. Steam library, Steam apps, common. I don't have one here either. What am I doing? In there anyway, you'll have a Stalker game there. Let's have a look. Let's create one. Stalker. It'll be there for most people in your Steam library. But for me, I've got it somewhere else. You're looking for a .exe file to launch the game, which is what's in this list here. So that's what you're looking for. If you can't find that, it doesn't come up like this. You go into the bin folder and it'll be there. You select that. Or you can select a shortcut, that works sometimes, but I recommend going into the bin folder. So once you got that there, click browse. Sorry, once you got it there, click next. Now, Shadow of Chernobyl's an old game, so it's DirectX 9. Most games you play will be DirectX 10, 11 or 12. So you select that. This is very important. If you don't select the right one, it won't work. Best solution is to actually just Google the game you're trying to run Reshade on, and it'll work. I believe Shadow of Chernobyl is DirectX 9 and Clear Sky, and Call of Pripyat is DirectX 10 or 11. But once again, yeah, just Google it and you'll find it. So we're going to click DirectX 9. Select preset to install. We haven't got one, we're going to create a new preset. So just click next to leave that blank. Now if you want to know what ones to select here, I recommend choosing more than you think you're going to need. So standard, always have that. Sweet Effects, Quint's a good one. That one there, Production 80. Immerse. What else we got here? Media by Marta McFly, that's a new one, I haven't seen that one before. Legacy Effects, select that. Honestly, you can select them all if you want. You can have a little play around. FX shaders. If you go for standard effects, sweet effects, FX shaders, Quint, color effects production 80, immerse, media, and legacy. Select next, it'll download them. Once you've done that, that's it. It's as simple as that. You're ready to launch the game again. And if you've done it correctly, it will come up with Reshade at the top of the screen. Yeah, if you get errors, just ignore it. It's usually the global illumination one. Doesn't work. If you've done it all correctly, you'll have Reshade at the top of the screen there. So we'll go back into the game. Now, press home key. Sometimes it doesn't work. You've got to alt tab a couple of times. And it'll come up. So you press the home key to activate Reshade. You can do the tutorial if you want. I've never done it myself. Consider this your tutorial. RD mods, film grain, failed to compile. Well, that doesn't matter. We don't care. I'm not using film grain. So the main things you want to use Reshade for are lighting, anti-aliasing, and sharpness. So we're going to start with lighting. Lighting as in bloom. I like using this one, PPFX. It's a little bit over the top. So we'll go out here. It's made the sky look really overdone. Now, with it off, you know, the sky kind of looks realistic. It looks a hell of a lot more realistic with the bloom up, but I think it's a little bit too much. So what I do is I actually go and turn it down a little bit. Okay, so you turn it down here. Bloom overall intensity is where you want to turn it down. It's quite sensitive. So that's with it completely off. I recommend 0.1 or 0.2. It's just a subtle effect to make the skies look a bit more realistic. And lighting and stuff. I think we'll leave it on 0.2. 0.2 looks good. That's with it off, that's with it on. If you go into this area here with the light, have a look. See the light? To me that looks quite realistic. I mean, it still looks pretty good with it off. But you know, it looks a lot nicer and warmer with it on. So that's the bloom. Now the next lighting I like to use is ambient light. Ambient light. It's kind of like another bloom. It's very intense. Once again, I turn it down. Turn it down, we just want it a little bit subtle. This to me, yeah, it's kind of like bloom, but it's almost like a fake volumetric effect. It kind of like fills the scene with light. So you're just flicking it on and off here. You can't really tell the difference. We'll turn it up a little bit. It's lighting up the fog in the scene at the moment. So we turn that down. We don't want it to be over the top. The whole point of Reshade is to actually make it so you don't even notice you've got it on. So we'll have that on a little bit. Ambient light's optional. You can have that on or off. You just use it to your taste. Click active to top so you know what you've selected. Right, so that's it for lighting. I'm not really going to use anything more than that. Oh, there is one more thing for lighting. I like to use ambient occlusion. This is another optional one. Search AO. I find the immerse one a bit over the top. You see it on the grass down here, the bushes, turning on and off. I actually quite like that one. Though immerse is probably a bit more subtle. Do this to your taste, either one of those. But this will put the Quint one on. Now, anti-aliasing. It's a real tongue twister for me, I don't know why. Search AA. Now, FXAA is the standard one that you get in the game. To me, it makes stuff blurry. I like to use SMAA, but I like to use just the standard one. And I don't adjust it at all, I just click it on and leave it. Have a little look. We'll go to a better spot. As you can see already, it's starting to make the game look a lot nicer. But what you might have noticed is that it's quite blurry. Alright, so we'll go up the top of this hill here and have a look. It's looking a lot nicer, but it's very soft. So this is where we're going to use the sharpness. Now there's two I like to use. The first one is AMD Fidelity FX Contrast Adaptive Sharpening, or CAS. You might know it if you play Call of Duty. It's one of the best filters to use for that game. So as you can see, that makes quite a big difference turning on and off. The trees in this game are always going to look a bit blocky. That's just because it's an old game. Honestly, you could turn on a whole lot of effects and try and make them look better, but you're always going to be fighting between sharpness and anti-aliasing. So that's another one, the first one I like to use. The other one, if you just type sharp, immerse sharpen's another good one. This is a little bit overboard for me. You can turn it down a bit. But the main two I like is Luma Sharpen and AMD CAS. Luma Sharpen's really nice. I think for this game, Luma Sharpen's probably the best one. So we'll go for that. And that's it. That is it. I mean, you look at how much better this game looks already. We'll go to this scene here. We'll turn all the effects on and we'll turn them off. Ambient light doesn't really seem to do much. Bloom, I mean, that's like kind of like night and day. It really affects the lighting in a big way, you know. It gives it color and makes it pop. Ambient occlusion, you're really only sort of noticing it on the grass at this stage, but it will put little shadows under objects and stuff. Once again, that's an optional one. You don't have to use it. If the game has it, I recommend turning it off and using this. I can't stress that enough. You turn off sharpening, anti-aliasing, ambient occlusion, turn all that stuff off in the game settings and just adjust them here. So if we turn everything off, you know, it still doesn't look bad. It's still a pretty nice looking game if I'm being honest. But we turn all these back on, and you could use a couple of sharpening filters if you want. Some people like that. It goes a bit overboard. The other thing to keep in mind too, if you're playing the game in 1440p or 4K, you might find you don't even need a sharpening filter. So once you got it all set up how you want to save your preset. Now, I always have trouble doing it in the menu here. It always ends up duplicating it and reverting my settings back, and I always have problems with it. So your experience may vary. You can go ahead and do it on the app if you want, but what I like to do is you've got it saved here. It will be automatically saved. It's in your Stalker folder, in the bin folder. Let's make this a bit wider. We'll make this wider so you can see. So if you click that, it will tell you where it is. It's called Reshade preset.ini. So I like to go out of the game. We'll go out of the game. Hang on, we'll just save it there. We'll go out of the game. Go into your Stalker game folder, wherever it is. Go into bin. Reshade shaders, that's what Reshade's installed, so it's not in there. It's actually just in the bin folder. Reshade preset.ini, not reshade.ini, reshade preset.ini. So what I recommend you do, that's what the game's set. So I recommend you make a copy of it. And then go into your folder wherever you've got Reshade. So in this case, it's just my Reshade folder. You want to paste it in there. Now, I recommend renaming it. If you rename it, then you're good. So we'll rename it Spectres Reshade 1. So we'll call it that. Now, what if you want to put it on a different game? So you've made your preset, and you want to perhaps play Clear Sky or Call of Pripyat. Let's see what I've got here. We'll go Call of Pripyat. So we want to play on Call of Pripyat. First of all, we start the game up. It's completely unmodded. So we'll go through, we'll set the game up. So right here it says DX11. Chuck that up to max. Set your res. You know how to do all this. Go into advanced. Turn everything up. This you got a potato, leave that off. Anti-aliasing. Sunrays, SSAO, ambient occlusion, turn that off. Turn that off. We're going to do it in game. Depth of field, I can't stand. Apply. Right, exit the game. Right, so you want to install Reshade on a different game, but use the preset you just made in Shadow of Chernobyl. You can do this in any single player game, by the way. It doesn't even have to be Stalker. Could be, I don't know, Days Gone. Whatever you want. So we'll go in, do Reshade setup again. Browse. Go out one. Go into our Call of Pripyat folder. Once again, you could, if the executable's here, just click on here. Otherwise, go into bin and use that one there. I recommend if it's got an exe outside the game, outside the bin folder, sorry, use that. If that doesn't work, then use the one in the bin folder. So we'll use that one. Next, we know it's DX11 because that's what we selected. Now, select preset to install. We've got this preset here, right? If we use this preset on the game, whenever we change something in the game, it'll change this preset that we've got here. So what we want to actually do before we go any further with this step, we want to copy this and we want to actually put it in our bin folder of Call of Pripyat. Copy here, paste it there, and then it's there. So then we know that if we alter this in the game, it won't alter our original setup. Our original, that's our master. So we could actually rename that now to master. Then we know that that's always the original one. Makes sense? So now we'll go browse, go into our bin folder, and it's already there. Select next. All the shaders that preset uses are selected here. So we don't need to worry about selecting the others. You can select more if you want here, but to run the preset we just made, you don't need to tick anything else. It's already all there. And then it's done. So now we launch Call of Pripyat using the and then it should, we've done everything correctly. The Reshade hasn't come up. Sometimes it can be a matter of alt tabbing and it'll come up. If you alt tab a few times and it doesn't come up, it means you've used the wrong executable file. So in this case we use that one. That didn't work. So we need to use this one here in the bin folder. So that's okay. You don't have to uninstall it on the one you just selected. But we'll select this one here. And we'll try it again. Now that was a lot quicker that time. That was because the Reshade shaders folder was already here. So it didn't need to install that part of it again. It just needed to activate it on this one here. So if we go into it now, it should load Reshade. And it has. So there you go. A little bit of mucking around, but you just got to be patient and follow the process and you'll get there. So we'll start a new game. Don't ever use rookie, always start on Stalker minimum. Stalker or master. So load the game up. Okay, so we'll just go down here. Look. And we've got all the settings exactly how we left them. But go through each setting, see how you like them. Just make sure it looks the way you want it. And if you're happy, let's go back to Shadow of Chernobyl and carry on there. You're going to enjoy the game a hell of a lot more. It just looks crisp and clear and the colours look good. If you want, you can adjust the colours a little bit more. Colourfulness is a good one. Lots of people like that. It's a little bit over the top for me. But it's, you know, brings up the colour of the fire on the bodies and stuff a lot more. Another one is Vibrance. Vibrance is another good one people like. But it's down to personal taste, really. I mean, yeah. I find those two work quite well together. Yeah. That's basically it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.